Hello, Morning Rusher regulars. This is Jonathon. Rusher's Kelly Nash. Now, I'm doing the countdown to the South Carolina State Fair. It opens up in 1 week. 1 week and 2 hours and 4 minutes. We'll be eating lunch for the first time at the South Carolina State Fair for the food. Although I'm a little disappointed in the food selection. I'm not hearing a whole lot of raving out of that. Not seeing any really cool pictures.
Well, I'm surprised because normally you've told me in years past you don't trust any of it. And you only eat the Fisk fries.
Well, I've decided that this year I'm going to jump on the bandwagon. I'm going to try it all. I'm going to live on the edge.
Oh, is this the day of living dangerously?
Prior to this, I'd only eat the Cliff Daily hot dogs. You know it's Cliff's because he's got the emblem, the South Carolina silhouette behind his name in the trailer, on top of the trailer.
That's class.
Yeah, it's class right there. That shows, that's Gamecock pride. That's South Carolina pride. Anyway, this year I'm going to go out on the limb. I'm actually going to make a suggestion to Cliff.
You are?
Yeah. I think instead of the double dog, which is 2 hot dog wieners on a stick, which makes a corn dog about this big.
That's also class.
That we cut them in chunks, and you have like a regular hot dog chunk, and then you have like one of those Italian sausage chunks. It becomes like a skewered corn dog skewer.
That's next level class.
There you go. And then you have a whole table of condiments. You can squirt some ketchup and then some mustard, and then
it's a squirt fest.
Could be a squirt fest.
You got a squirt fest with your sausage and hot dog.
A squirt fest with your sausage?
Yeah, that's what this.
All right, now
this is the classiest of all the state fairs.
This conversation was classy. I opened it up talking about state pride, and look what Kelly did to it. A squirt fest with your Italian hot dog wiener. Now, tomorrow on the program, let's move along to something a little more family friendly, or am I the only one dragging this in the mud?
Well,
don't look at your monitor like that. How about Tracy Lawrence, Country Christmas Time at the Township?
I was going to say, today's trivia question that we already aired, and Tumbleweed did not believe me, I think, originally when we told him the answer to who is the black reindeer. Do you remember now, Tumbleweed?
I do now. Shadrach.
Shadrach the Black Reindeer is sung originally by Loretta Lynn and then followed up by a guy named, I think David Jemiah was his name. Anyway, you can...
Now, was he R&B?
He's an R&B
artist. Do you know that song?
I've never heard of him.
You know the artist?
No, but...
I think he's R&B.
Yeah, he's kind of a rhythmic artist.
Fusion jazz,
yeah,
maybe.
He just obviously fell in love with the Loretta Lynn original hit and took it to the next level. 2012. It's, by the way, you can still buy it on Amazon. Always surprised to hear that is not sold out yet.
I know.
The original pressings are still available of Shadrach the Black Reindeer.
It looks like you could be like a big fan of the Rat Pack. Kelly's a big fan of the Rat Pack.
I am.
Because he went full fedora with it.
Full fedora.
He did.
So we have tomorrow's trivia question, and again, this will be asked tomorrow morning, Thursday, at around 6:30. And the question is, which reindeer is known as the redneck reindeer? Now, I know Tumbleweed knows this because yesterday I played him the video.
The redneck reindeer.
Yes.
What's his name, or which one?
Yeah, who is known as the
it's
redneck?
It's not Dancer or Prancer.
Well,
Or Blitzer.
Or Blitzer.
or Blitzen, as the guy called him and guessed
You
this
missed
morning.
that this morning. Blitzer was the little-known redneck reindeer, I guess. He stayed behind and had Christmas Eve toddies with Mrs. Claus.
Anyway, the answer to our question and the video that goes along with it is worth its weight in gold on the Morning Rush blog at 975wcos.com. Now, Jonathan, this story is going to be at 5:15, 5:30, early in the morning.
Does that mean it's from Florida? We always do the freaky news stories from Florida early in the morning.
I don't know where this story came from. We found it on Reddit, the website where people post things.
Yeah.
Somebody brought our attention to one of the posts on Reddit and all the comments on it, and we've linked you to that one. But we have a woman who's pregnant. Her mother-in-law has informed her. First off, she thought it was the mother-in-law was encouraging her to breastfeed, not bottle feed the baby.
Okay.
Which I can understand that conversation.
Sure.
But what the mother-in-law was actually saying was that she, the mother-in-law, the grandmother, wants to be the one breastfeeding the baby, not the mom. She wants to take that duty and be like the wet nurse.
Now, do we have any reason to believe that the grandmother has actually had a child recently so she could actually produce said wetness for it to be a wet nurse?
I don't know. That's a whole line of questions and comments on that one.
Okay, I got a lot of
Also, the problem seems to be that her husband has not stood up to the mother. Doesn't want to make his mom uncomfortable. Loves his mom. But how...
Maybe he's caught. He's thinking to himself, how could I deny my offspring the nourishment that I myself had some 45 years ago?
Well, some speculate that he was denied that very nourishment, which is the reason for the guilt and why the grandmother wants to finally breastfeed somebody.
Oh.
That could be the problem here as well. But she is in her early 60s, and some question whether she's capable of actually...
Look, I know nothing about wet nursing, but I thought that in order to do that, you'd actually had to have had a child yourself. Or is there a shot you can take? Is there a pill that a woman can take to make herself, her mammary start producing?
Greg taught us, if it has nipples, you can milk it. Remember,
That's
Greg
right.
taught us that.
Yeah.
And so, as Robert De Niro said, I have nipples, Greg. Can you milk me?
If I ever meet Robert De Niro, I have a couple of questions. One is, can you milk me?
What do you mean? You want Robert De Niro to milk you?
Yes. Yes.
Or I thought you were saying, let me give it a shot.
I just want to see what his reaction would be. He looks so grumpy. He just looks like he wants to he looks like his head's going to explode at any second now. He just made a movie called The Irishman. I wanted to see it. Now, by his own words, he wishes he hadn't made it. So
Why is that?
If it made him angry, I sure as heck don't want to watch it.
Well, maybe, I mean, not to
I
get
think
too
he did-
political, but
I
he's
don't-
such a huge anti-Trump guy. Maybe this somehow comes off as a pro-Trump movie. I don't know.
Was Trump of Irish descent?
I don't know.
Maybe
He's
that's what-
Scottish, and we know he's from Scotland.
Exactly.
So maybe...
Maybe we find out when
I
we
don't-
do,
yeah.
do the Ancestry.com and find out they're cousins. That's why they don't get along.
That could be it, too.
I don't know. All right, so we're doing that at 5:15.
That's an early morning one. People will talk about breastfeeding and whether or not mother-in-law should be allowed to breastfeed the grandchild. And
Guaranteed this happened in Florida, without a doubt.
Guaranteed.
Anything freaky happens in Florida.
all right, here's a story from Fox News. They say that if you are a child being read to by mom and dad, which is always encouraged, this survey or this study proves that reading off your tablet is less beneficial to the child than reading an actual book.
Really?
Now, according to this, parents and kids enjoy the back and forth that comes with a real book over that of what comes with a control of a device like a tablet. Kids are likely to try to take the lead and push their parents away. But that's not all, according to Dr. Tiffany Munzer, who adds that when it comes to parents who read from their tablets, their language use may not be as potent. With a print book, parents feel they can cozy up with their kids and make the story come alive.
That must be a generational kind of thing then.
What do you
Because
mean?
the kid wants to take over. The kid knows that, hey, I'm a techie.
Yeah.
I'm the one who should be operating this.
Could be.
Yeah, you're a baby boomer. You got no idea what you're doing.
I don't think there's many parents right now that are baby boomers that have like toddlers.
Well, I had this argument again the other day. Baby boomers stretched out further than was once noted.
Yeah, but I'm Generation X. I was born in '67, so I'm 52.
Look, I know a 65-year-old woman who's going to breastfeed a baby.
So don't tell
Right,
me.
don't tell me, okay? All right, maybe it must be a generational thing is all I'm saying. But certainly you should read to your kids. More importantly, have your kids read to them and teach them how to read. Tell me a story. My mom used to get on to me all the time when I was a kid and I would read to her. Stop just saying the words. Tell me a story. You're boring me. So then I would have to read it. I'd be very demonstrative with it.
We kind of give inflections to
Yeah.
the story
Yeah.
instead of just reading the words
Exactly.
like this.
Don't read the words. Tell me a story.
I said the same thing about one of the commercials that was airing this morning.
Mm-hmm. We're not getting into that again.
We're not, okay. Duct
Clients
tape.
love it when we criticize their commercials. I've learned that from clients. They
They're
think it's
fans of
funny.
that.
They
Love it.
that.
They love it. Duct tape, and it is spelled D-U-C-T tape, but it is put out by a brand called Duck, D-U-C-K. So Duck brand duct tape is the #1 selling duct tape in the world, and they've done a survey. And according to this, the majority, not a large majority, but 51% of Americans, so the majority of Americans currently have something in their house that is being held together by duct tape. I don't think I do. I don't think I have anything in my house that I've duct together.
I know I do.
You currently do, so you're
Not
in the
at my
majority.
house, but another property. I have a duct brand tape that is actually a tape called Rapid. And with Rapid, like you got a garden hose, or in
Okay.
my case, I had a pipe under a house that was starting to drip. So instead of cutting it, because I was in a hurry, I went and got some of this adhesive. It stretches like electrical tape, kind of. It has fiberglass built into it. And you wrap that tape and let it sit for 12 to 24 hours. You got to cut it with a daggum saw. It's fixed forever. Now you might have something duct tape. I talked to a girl yesterday. Somebody hit the front of her car and she put duct tape on the bumper cover, but she had to drive to Charleston where the duct tape came off. That's a lot of wind going 80 miles an hour down
I've
the
never
interstate
heard of
to
duct
Charleston.
tape coming off of anything.
It came off of her car.
It's magical.
Yeah, I know.
Were you the guy? I know I've met someone, and I thought it might be you, who used duct tape to fix a shoe.
I did.
Like 10 years ago,
I did.
you were walking around with duct tape
I
holding
did.
together your shoe at the time.
Yeah.
And you
Well,
loved those shoes, and you didn't
I
want to
blew
get
out
rid
a
of them.
soul.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love those shoes. These aren't the shoes. But I duct taped it.
Yeah.
And then Sally threw them away with it when I wasn't at home.
Oh, is that how they're no longer here?
Right.
Otherwise, you'd probably still be using those shoes.
Thanks, Sally. It's a damn good pair of shoes. Even better after I put the duct tape on them.
So we'll find out tomorrow morning, I'm guessing 7:15, what are you using duct tape on currently in your house?
In your home.
Or in your car, because
Where's duct tape
37% of Americans say something in their car is being held together by duct tape.
Okay.
Seats, I guess, probably, maybe that lining. I remember the lining to the roof of my friend's, he had a station wagon.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, either we did it, I don't know how it happened, but it had all been cut. So the thing was just flapping down like that. And
Oh, yeah.
He had like duct tape all over the ceiling of his car.
Okay. What are you duct taping at your home or automobile? We can talk about it tomorrow. That's still, and how long has it been on there? That's the thing. I think we talked about this maybe like 5-10 years ago.
Okay.
And duct tape, they put it on there thinking this is a temporary fix.
Well, according to
my
the
dad's words
survey,
are ringing true in my head now. My dad said one time, I found most of my temporary fixes are permanent, and most of my permanent fixes are temporary. What do you fix temporary that ended up working with your duct tape?
currently in the survey, 8 days is the average amount of time that it's duct taped together before they figure out another repair for it.
Okay.
But you're saying, and I would tend to agree with you, that if I duct tape it and it's held together, I'm not going back and crazy gluing it or
No.
anything else. I'm just
That pipe's still under that house and
Yeah.
that property?
It's working.
Still got the tape on it. Why would I possibly go cut it now?
How many years ago was that?
It's like a decade ago.
That's great.
I need to climb under there and take a look at it and make sure it's not leaking.
Would you travel in an airplane if you knew that parts of it were duct taped, the motors were somehow duct taped?
Do I have a chance to talk to the engineer before we take off? Because if he can convince me of it, I might just go ahead and say, yeah, this is what we're talking. Woo!
I thought you'd feel confident. Look at the hose; it's still working.
There you
a
go.
decade later.
That's what I'm saying. If I could talk to the engineer, I might do it. Hey, listen, tomorrow morning we get up bright and early. We start at 5:15. Chime in, Grandma. If you're going to be nurse what? Wet nursing.
Wet nurse.
If you're going to be the wet nurse for your grandchild, I want to hear about that. And we give you a chance to win your tickets tomorrow morning for second row. We do that at what time again?
That's at 6:30.
6:30 in the morning. All right, duct taping that, all that tomorrow morning on the Morning Rush. 97.5 WCOS.